Hello, hello. I am sorry. I try not to take that long usually in the starting screen, guys. But we are here. What's up, Kev? What's up, Shariar? Love is here already too. Damn. But yeah. I apologize for the wait. I was gonna start literally like as soon as I started the stream, but like I decided to go for like a bathroom break and some Mountain Dew and stuff. So I was like, let me actually get some stuff ready so I can actually last the whole entire double stream. I was also checking out, I don't know if you guys are interested in this since this is like the North America scene, but the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy is going on right now. So if you're interested in seeing how North America teams play, you guys should check out that channel. That's starting off fresh, and they stream from basically 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern, and they've streamed a lot. And I would recommend, if you're interested in seeing how our meta is right now, you should check it out for NA. And some of those teams you will eventually see in the NACT, or some of them even played in the NACT. But yeah, that's them. That's the NA region trying to get good, you know, typical stuff. But yeah, just FYI, I realized that since I'm starting the stream a little bit earlier, these guys are currently streaming at the moment, so just massive shout out to them, because that's where Deku, an up-and-coming caster, you guys know him from over here because he helps out with like the tier list and other ML content. But Deku is over there trying to cast and become a pro caster over there, and so yeah, just shout outs and stuff. I kind of felt like I should share. Not that it matters much, but this is going to be a very big series, I guess. I hope it is, at least. I have high expectations. But for those of you watching the VOD, whenever it lands, slash those of you right now, let me just talk a little bit so that people that watch the VOD know what this series is about, so that nobody's confused and everybody's got like a general idea of what's going to be going on this stream. So also, I'm hyped for the Hanabi stream tonight, but yeah, let's get this settled real quick. So basically, this Weapon Master series is a new series of streams that will basically be a lot more targeted and guided towards itemization, which is a very big topic in Mobile Legends that's not very well understood. If you're here at last night's stream, which is that Leomord one, you can tell that halfway through I just went for like full-on nerd mode into the calculations and stuff along with some of you. The rest of you were just kind of just in there for the ride, just locked in. You kind of just like, you're just like, hey, I have no idea what the hell is going on, but the math matches, and that's pretty much all that I care about. so so that's basically not what's gonna happen today. I don't have to do all the math because we did all that coping on the Leo Mord stream, but essentially the beginning of this entire stream is just me explaining and coping and showing you guys what I plan to do with this series. And you know, of course, if I have problems with the stream, I would hope that you guys let me know as usual, because scuffed, and we try to avoid the scuff. But yeah, since this is the first in the series, let me go ahead and tell you exactly how I can claim the title of best build, which is what we're gonna end up with for every hero we do in this series, right? You know, you can't just randomly, arbitrarily just say, okay, well, this is now the officially the best build. No, like what went into you saying, you know, hands down, that's the best build for that hero, right? So the criteria for any of these weapon master per hero on a per hero basis is that build real game ready. Like, I'm not gonna say like, I'm not gonna give you like a build on Claude, for example. Sorry, this is back when War Axe wasn't nerfed on Marksman. That's why you see it here. This is the advanced server, and we're on the advanced server because we need to use the newest items, get ready for the newest patches and stuff, not just, you know, give out old builds that will be like, you know, gone in like a patch. So I can't just give you this kind of build for Claude, right, and say, okay, this right here, hands down, best Claude build, no questions asked, you know, run it, best damage, highest, you know, whatever. No, because it's highly unrealistic in a real match that you'd be able to run something like that. So, you know, maybe in a 5-man team, oh, sorry about that. Maybe in a 5-man team, I have no idea why it has a blessing on it, but maybe in a 5-man team, for example, for Claude, you could run something like this because you might have a healer or a support or a tank that can peel for you, and you're kind of reaping with him properly. But if you don't have the right type of team comp, you might need Athena's shield, and then that's why the #1 criteria is the build that I give you going to satisfy most matches. You know, is it real game ready? I'm like, can you take this build to a game and then be successful with it? Like, that's the #1 thing coming off of these weapon master type best build type things. Okay, is it ready for real games? And if it's not, then, you know, skill issue, that's not what I want. The other thing that I would like to put as #2 on the criteria list is, let's take a build for somebody that can go both ways. For example, like, I would say, who's good at doing double? I would say somebody like, hold up, it's kind of hard because I have to choose one. Oh, here, great example. So the new Ruby, with the new Dom Ice and all those items and stuff. Like, remember on the Ruby lab, we were talking about there's a balance between how tanky you should go and how much damage items you should get on her. There's a fine line. You can't just build full burst Ruby because in a real match you're gonna get burned. And what that does is it's not a kit patcher or a kit enhancer. That's just for example, that's a balanced build. But some heroes, for example, like Alucard, the Alucard scalings and stuff are lenient towards burst. So you can make a build that makes Alucard very, very high burst, which enhances his strengths, but it also enhances his weaknesses, because once you're full burst, you commit and you die. If you don't, you know, burst the enemy, you get bursted yourself, right? So that would be a kit enhancer. Versus a kit patcher type build is what I guess I would title it, where you try to compensate for somebody's lack of anything in a build. You can have those types of builds, which I guess goes towards variability. That's also weighted heavily in these best builds. And then of course the purpose. You know, what is the reason for you building this on this hero when you shouldn't normally build it, right? That also gets factored in. So those are the major keys right there. The real game ready, is it a kit patcher or a kit enhancer type build, and what variability does that build have, like in game? Is like, are you able to switch items within the same build once you're in the game, or is it like a very strict build? And like I said, the purpose. And what I mean by that purpose one, just to expand on it momentarily, I'll read the chat in a second, guys, is like Benedetta, for example. as a jungler, you can run her tanky, right? And the purpose of running her tanky is just to survive long enough for you to, red tree those objectives. And it's not like you're trying to kill people, like obviously you're gonna do damage because you're a tanky jungler, but other than, like, hands down, other than there's no real reason for it, like outside of being tanky enough to sustain and get chonky and red tree those objectives, right? And it's a tank jungler meta, right? But like outside of that, there's no real purpose to that build. It's not meant to enhance her killing capabilities. She's an assassin. That's not the purpose of it, right? So different builds have different purposes. Some of those builds have variability, and some of those builds are also meant to enhance or patch certain heroes' kit. In the case of like Tank Benedetta, it's not that there's variability in it, other than like any normal tank, you can just build counter tank items, but you're not really inherently trying to change her kit with that build. You're not saying, oh, okay, I'm getting this build because her skill 1 scales with very well with HP or something like that. No, you're not patching anything about her kit, you're not enhancing anything about her kit. So just wanted to point those minute differences, but they do matter in the end, right? Alright, let me read up on chat now so that all the intro's away. So if you're watching the VOD, go ahead and skip out like a couple, like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. I'm gonna catch up on chat because we are doing this live, and the way that we're gonna do these, I've only promised Lilia for today, and whatever chat says, that's what we have time for, is what we'll go for the next one. We're gonna stream up until about 12 a.m. EST, and then we're gonna end the stream, and we're gonna start the lab for the new reworked Mlbb, which is the purpose of that stream. So we'll check her out. We're gonna make sure that we get her best build during that stream. So I guess it's kind of like I wouldn't do a weapon master on her since we're doing a whole entire dedicated stream to her. But yeah, that's look forward to that one. We're gonna go in depth on Mlbb and lab her and make sure that she's future proof with all the newest items taken into consideration, like the new dumb ice and stuff. And hopefully I fixed all this like lag from yesterday. I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers right now, but I don't know. Okay. Oh my god, so professional. Look at them glasses. Somebody who wears glasses, they're professional. Or straight up just blind. I'm just blind. Trust. So yeah, I was told that glasses is better for these nerdy type streams. So yeah, I just kind of equip him and change the hair to complete black. Instead of having like that blue tint to it, I just go completely black hair. It's just these little toggles on this model. But yeah. Shariar, I am from South Asia. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I also have a question for heroes with mixed damage like Esmeralda. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and ask. Feel free to ask, because I mean we're gonna go ahead and get started talking about Lilia, but if you have any like quick questions about Esme, we can answer them. If they're more complicated, we might have to push it off a little bit, but just remind me later if it's a very complicated question. Is that your second account, Zero? Now, this is the advanced server. It's the same account. It's like the same ID, 6681290. It's just, this is the advanced server version, so that's why you see the different username. In case you're wondering, that's the only reason it looks a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. Yeah, Kev kind of just verified that's the advanced server. Thank you, Kev. What's up, Luffy? Don't forget about the other rework that might be joining her later on. Another rework? I'm gonna ask some questions today. It's really important for me. Yeah, go for it. Go ahead. Feel free. Same thing for you, Luffy. Go ahead and ask. I feel like somebody's gonna troll me with these questions. Why is Mlbb so bad? Oh no. So the current Hanabi is very bad because, or the one on the original server is very bad because she doesn't have any type of mobility, and her crowd control immunity is based on having full HP first in order to get that shield above. And then on top of that, it takes her forever to scale into late game. So she's very easy to kind of pick off, kind of like in a sense, and her ultimate and crowd control and everything like that. It's just a kit that was never popular, excuse me. And if you wanted something like Hanabi but actually good, you could always pick Melissa, and you'd have a way better time. But yeah, that's the reason why they revamped her and reworked her, because she needed these buffs in order to be good again. And believe it or not, that rework is looking quite nice. They're trying to push for, if you guys look at the recommended build on the official like Mobile Legends account, like for on YouTube, they gave out this this build right here. Actually, let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up, so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. The Mlbb Hanabi. Basically, I'm trying not to cap here, obviously, so I'm gonna try and see what the build was. Yes, it's actually the one that you see here. So the one on the video is the same one you see in the game. So this attack speed effects, this is the one they're recommending. This is the one being pushed by Moonton right now. And they're trying to push for the, as you can see, it's like a Claude style build. I have problems with this, but I'm gonna see if my problems are not based well. We'll see. Like I said, we'll talk more about that during the Hanabi stream herself, okay? So, Hanabi questions for now. Unless they're like simple to answer like that one, we'll hold off for the actual Hanabi stream, okay? Esme / Ruby / Yuzong / Khalid / Uranus, which hero would you choose for solo lane, giving pain to the enemy? Ooh. If you're strictly talking about like wave cutting and just being a nuisance and just annoying to deal with, Uranus is probably one of the top recommendations, and then Esme, and then Ruby, and then Yuzong, and then Khalid in that order, I would say. I've been getting some Hanabi in all feed. I mean, I don't blame you. Like, that's the Hanabi, the reworked Hanabi is not coming out until next week on the 20th. Lapu Lapu's getting popular on EXP. Yep, that's expected. I've always had him really high on the tier list for a reason. I'm glad he's finally getting some recognition again. The Hanabi slander is too much. No. It's true though. For the most matches, it's kind of like if you're playing Hanabi right now, and you're getting very high success rate on her, it's mostly because you have a really good roamer. And otherwise, there's no real way you would be having really high win rates with her in solo queue, because she's just that easy to pick off, honestly. Unless you're not fighting a lot of assassins on the enemies in those thousands of matches that you've played. If you're not fighting, because like basically I see Hanabi, I insta-lock Harley, and I just have a field day, but it doesn't mean I win the game, because obviously that's a marksman, and I can kill her and everything, but it doesn't mean that the rest of my team is competent enough to end the game or anything like that. I'm only one part of the 5-man team, right? So yeah. The Mincy rework? What about it? Zero, is Moskov better than Hanabi? Moskov's getting reforged as well, just like Hanabi. But currently, right now, yes, Moskov is better than Hanabi. When this Hanabi rework comes out, I don't think so. I'll Hanabi users fee. Watch me maining Hanabi once I get more BP cones. Hanabi has, I don't know why they took so long to rework her. She has very high potential to be like just marketed very well. Like, come on. Like let's be real. Like you could really market her, and why not? You know, like you're just nerfing your own potential here as a company. You know, so I'm just more surprised the fact that they took him so long to get her a rework. And it be God soon. Trust? Can you explain the blessed thing on jungle and roam boots? Yeah, that's fine. We can get some basics down too before we start talking about Lilia and just about stuff in general that should be like common knowledge. So like prerequisites. What's up, Knight? We're about to get started talking on about Lilia here, but I think what Shariar has brought up is actually very important. We should get some basics down. So for those of you that have played the game for a long time, it's going to be boring because you already know everything I'm about to talk about, but just think about this as, like I said, as a VOD. So people watching this in the future, if they're new and stuff, they might not know about it. I skipped your question. I didn't mean to. Wait, I gotta find it now. Yes. What do I recommend for Paquito? Is that the one? And Yuzong. Yes, Paquito Yuzong? Mm-hmm. Esme will be happy with the new anime. Yeah, Esme always happy. Esme always happy when Shield Heroes get released. Who watches 1 hour plus live streams over? A lot of new players have actually. If you look at the new player guide, it's just really popular in the VODs for some reason, so I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of like, well, I guess think about it this way. They don't have much options. There's not a lot of people explaining itemization out here on a daily basis, you know. They're not very in-depth. They're just gonna give you like, here's your build, it works, take it, you know. There's no actual in-depth information. Some people want that, I guess. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, Pack and Yuzong. Okay, let's get those out of the way real quick. Where is Paquito? That's Fredrin. That's definitely Fredrin. I clicked on the wrong hero. Okay. Yeah, nah, Chief. Nah, none of this. None of this. I hate the fact that they gave Brute Force the CDR of Damais. But anyways, Damais definitely required. Something like this, I would say. Yeah, I would say your best bet is something like this. With... Yeah, I would say right now, just right off the bat, I have no idea again why there's blessings on this. It's insane. But, you know, get your typical Fury Hammer early game, then build into Damais, finish your Hunter Strike if you want to, otherwise just get your Malefic Roar. Like, if you need that CDR, finish it basically, but if not, well, actually you kind of have to, because of the nerf to the CDR of Damais. You can't just do Fury Hammer into Malefic Roar anymore because you don't have enough CDR. So, yeah, do something like this. You know, get your Fury Hammer first, get your boots, then finish your Hunter Strike, go into Damais, get your Damais. Then, you know, we're in the tank meta, that's why you see the Malefic Roar, and obviously from all the calculations yesterday that you saw, Malefic Roar is a pretty broken item. That's why it's recommended for him. However, if you don't need it, slash if the enemy is not all that tanky, you can switch that with the Bloodlust Axe for more survivability. So, you know, you can kind of do this right here. That's perfectly fine as long as the enemy isn't tanky enough. Basically, you need to be killing them. If you're not killing them, there's no real reason to going pack, right, in those burst quick engages from him. And late game, you know, you can burst people, so you're not really too worried about much stuff, but escaping magic damage in general for any fighter is almost impossible unless you don't have Athena's shield. The only other option instead of Athena's shield would be Radiant Armor, in case the enemy has multi-hit more than they have burst. But 99% of the time, Athena's shield is going to be serving you a better purpose. Bloodlust Axe, again, for that survivability late game. If you don't care, you just want to burst them, and you can just escape and recall to base. If that's your playstyle, get a BOD instead of a BLX. if you're just trying to bait out a bunch of enemy ultimates and stuff late game, you can get your immortality and then sell it once you respawn and get out of danger, and then just replace it with, you know, these two items. It's up to you, up to your playstyle, but in general, I'd say it's a very generic, very nice, average Pekito build. And as a matter of fact, I would recommend the very, very, very same build for Yuzong, if you care about his survivability. Literally, what I just said for Pekito also applies to Yuzong, 100%. They have the exact same build, even though they are completely different playstyle heroes. Yuzong, though, might benefit a little bit more from Bloodless Axe because of just the way he's built. So, you know, he might just benefit more from this orientation as opposed to Pekito, who can benefit a little bit more from this orientation. So, just while we're on it, you know, the good thing about certain heroes is that a lot of their builds kind of translate over, but that's mostly dictated by the item meta, and Dom Ice is meta. Like, no matter what, the new Dom Ice is a requirement from now on. I watched Zero at No My Venus stream. Hey, yo! Yeah, true, not much itemization in Mel community. Yep. Some tutorials don't talk, they don't speak to newbies. Yeah, so that's why the targeted thing is, you know. It's a targeted stream, basically, essentially. I got this feeling, yeah, you know. I know that song. There's magic. Dun 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 dun. Where? What am I doing? Where is this song from? I get the no. Yeah, you know. There's magic in my. No. I know that song. I get this feeling. Yes. Bones, right? It's Bones. It's Bones, right? It's Bones, right? It's Bones from Imagine Dragons. Yes, yeah. Okay. I thought so. Yeah. I was like, ta da 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 da. Gimme. Yeah. Okay, let's not turn this into a singing stream. Let's not do that. This is ML stream. Zero, my question was, does physical items help heroes like Esmeralda with mixed damage, and also Guinevere increase their magic damage abilities without it affecting their physical? That depends on their scaling, but for the most of the time, hybrid heroes have hybrid scaling. So yes, Guinevere has hybrid scaling. So if you build physical items on her, she does have some sort of scaling in her passive, as you can see, total physical, total magic. There's some hybridization going on there for sure. It doesn't mean that you should go out and like build hybrid items on her. They just do that because they're scaling, right? And when your hero scales, they gain physical attack. So they kind of try to like translate a little bit of that physical scaling into magical scaling. In the case of Guinevere, that becomes only relevant when you're talking about items such as Wind Talker or Scarlet Phantom. So like a crit type build. Again, very, very unlikely you would ever do that on Gwyn. Not that type of average Gwyn player would get that, but these are very low physical attack scaling items. You'd mostly get them for the crit because she does have magic crits enabled, just like Harith does or Selena does. You just wouldn't normally get them, right? They just crit really hard in the magic sense. As for Esme, you could actually get away with, once you get like a chonky build on her. These are all recommended builds, these are not mine. These are like Moonton's recommended builds, but let's just assume there's a normal build down there, which that is not. Late game, you could get a DHS, and Esme's DHS goes underneath her any shield the enemy has, so that could be some good synergy if you're trying to like, you know, whittle down an enemy's HP, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna build Radiant Armor now. Esme does no damage, right? So you just get a DHS and they just start like folding. That could be some very niche counterplay itemization that you could unlock on Esme if the enemy is very low physical armor. Like, let's say your team went full on like magic, and the enemy's building, like, obviously there's no reason for them to build physical items. You could sneak in a DHS on Esme, and those niche scenarios and profit actually very well. Make zero sing bones trust? I used to go in, no one could kill Yuzong. Now those days are gone. Yep, it is what it is. Make zero, don't make zero sing bones. Yes, that is the right hashtag. I use Gwyn build, Concentrated Energy, Oracle, Blade Armor, Genius Wand, and Holy Crystal. Interesting. Blackpink. I'm so confused as to why I build. People build Berserker's Fury on Ruby. What in the? Hey Joel, welcome to the stream. What the? Okay, ignore those people. Those people are not normal. Just don't worry about those people. But let's go ahead and talk about these things you should know about items and stuff before you can get about talking into any type of itemization. Okay, so I would recommend that you first of all check out Moonton's own. I have no idea why it's making me wait. Moonton has their own. Believe it or not, they do have their in-game resources in here for you guys. So it's over here. Go to the equipment tab, click on adjustments, right? Okay, I guess not. I guess you can only see it once. You hate to see it. What the heck? Well, I like I said, okay, just rewind it, I guess. Damn. I'll just have to do it myself. So basically, let's get started with the boots. That's the easiest way to get anything explained. The basic boots, and it's actually easier to explain in what happened. This is the game doing this. Okay, hold up guys, let me restart the game. Well, there's the scuff. There we have begun the scuffed. What in the nani? Moonton be like? Basically, while this is loading, when you buy boots in the game, if you are the roamer role or the jungler role, you have two different types of boots to choose from. And those types of boots will dictate, basically they're called blessings, and they just unlock different variations of the skill. So let's talk about those real quick, and so we can get used to them. So we'll talk about the jungler stuff first, because that's probably what's going to be more relevant for most people. So let's just say you pick a normal tank jungler, like, I don't know, who's really popular tank jungler right now? Let's go for a Balmond, I guess, which is more of like a tanky fighter. Balmond, where are you? There he is. Ignore the emblem, but yeah, let's just say you're being the retri on your team, and when you get retribution, your boots will have blessings unlocked. And right here is you have jungle tab under movement. Right here you have jungle, and you have three options. Of those three options, these are your three blessings. You have ice retribution, flame retribution, and then bloody retribution. Each one of these retribution has seen their own usage, you know. But essentially, without going too in-depth, the blue one makes you faster. Let's see if I can get some. I might have to get a bunch of gold so I can show you. Let me kill some mobs real quick so I can show you. It's easier to show than to kind of explain, especially for jungle stuff. Alright, there, it unlocks. So, if you're paying attention, you have these like stacks right here. The ice retribution will not unlock until you get at least, I believe it was 5. I could be capping. I might have to reset my level just to test that because I messed up. I wasn't really paying attention, so I'll just have to do that again. It's not that hard. Sorry. So when you kill a creep, you'll get 1 stack. There's 1 right there. Here's another one. Now we have 2. Yeah, it was 5. Okay, so at 5 the retribution unlocks, okay? And once it maxes out at 15, it just gets a stronger effect basically. And if you look at this patrolling bot I'm gonna summon, I didn't touch it. That slowdown you saw is from red retreat from the red buff. That's 60% slow. That's not me. But then this ice retreat is another slow right there. So basically the ice retreat, when you use it on somebody, it slows them down and it makes you faster. That's why it's very meta right now. One of the most, if not the most meta one right now in general. So wow, I missed that. Oh well. But the only reason that you would get different blessings for this when you get your basic boots, right? Like you can buy your normal boots, but the other blessings are like a bleed effect, which I can show you, the purple one, and that's based on your max HP. So you hit an enemy with retri, and I need to take some damage for me to show this one properly, I guess. Hold on, let me kill this guy real quick. So I need to take some damage essentially so that you can see this properly. Alright, when you hit an enemy with the purple retri, they have burn damage based on your max HP, and then you heal some of that burn damage. This used to be more meta than the blue one, but it got nerfed, hence why people don't use it more. And then this red one is not taken very often at all, but it's underrated in my opinion, because what it does is not only does it enhance your damage by 100 late game, it basically steals the enemy's physical and magical attack, and then it gives it to you. Similar to how the blue one works, where it takes away their movement speed and gives it to you. This takes away some of their damage and gives it to you. So it creates like a gap, I would say, of... I do believe it's 100 when maxed out, 100 physical attack or magical attack. Some people say that this is only worth it on hybrid heroes, so people that scale off magical and physical attack. Otherwise they wouldn't take red retri because it's not worth it to them. But in my opinion, it's more, you should take it more for those to counter burst, especially in the late game when you're just getting bursted down by enemy marksmen and stuff, because you can hit an enemy marksman with this and then bam, they literally get cut off from 100 of their physical attack just straight up, and then you gain that. It's not like it goes and just gets nerfed from them. So you do more burst damage essentially when you hit him with that, and it just helps you survive when you hit those high burst heroes, right? That's why I think it's underrated. And 100, for those of you that complain in general about the hybrid on this, or you wouldn't get it unless it's a hybrid hero, let me just remind you that, look at these items, right? 80 physical attack, 60, 70, 80, 160, that's the only one. 70, 30, 65, none. 65, 70, 60, 35 goes up a little bit more. 30, 65, 30, 35. So, aside from BOD, there's no other physical item in the game that gives you 100, you know, like straight up 100 physical attack. So that's, just keep that in mind. If you scale it based on the items in the game, it's actually pretty strong debuff and buff for a retri. But again, that's not what's meta right now. What's meta right now is the ice retri for most junglers, because obviously most people need to be able to move faster, right? Because as you can see, Balmon's kind of slow, right? So it's based on whatever cup of tea you prefer, but I would say if your hero relies on burst and can get bursted down very quick, I would opt for a red retri if you don't need the mobility from the blue retri. So heroes like Lancelot essentially can benefit more from that red retri. But yeah, that's how those blessings work for junglers. Okay. What's going on here? Oh, Nyx. Bane, physical or magical? Pros or cons? What def items? Is there an actual hybrid build for him? Yeah. Nyx, there is a Bane stream on the channel already. I went way in depth on that one. If you're interested in that, just scroll through it, find the builds, and then if you're actually interested in the logic behind them and all that, you can watch the actual VOD. But we did do a Bane stream. For sure already. That one's there is a real hybrid build. It's just that there's no real reason to go either. There like you kind of have your options. The on one hand, the physical burst Bane is safer to play because you can kind of just shoot and poke the enemies more often. Whereas that magical burst Bane is more cancer in those like ambush type scenarios and has better heals and better rotation. So, pick which one you prefer. But for me in solo queue, that's the hero I took the new account, the newbie account, and basically that's the hero I spam the most to get out of um, with low level emblems and in general that's the hero I spam the most because as a jungler, as a side laner, it doesn't matter. That was my best choice in solo queue this season to get to mythic on that account. But yeah, the builds haven't changed, by the way. Personality, awesome, thank you. Panda's the best tank in the game. Yeah, Panda's ultimate is very strong. I'm catching up on chat right now, sorry. I hate K-pop. What? You shouldn't hate K-pop. K-pop is good. I like it. I prefer Flame Retry. It helps me. Yeah, like I said, Flame Retry has its merits, honestly. I remember when Flame Retry used to trigger Glowing Wand. It was so good for Harley. Yeah, there's a reason it was nerfed, It was meta. Everything is meta until it gets nerfed, and then something else is like, oh, we should have done this, and then everybody that's already been doing it is like, bruh, I told you about this. You just, stubborn. You should just listened. Not flame, I mean purple. Oh, okay, yeah. Same logic though, same logic. I think that some higher players use red retry for more damage on ult. Yeah, exactly. It's those assassins that don't need that blue one that benefit the most from red retry. Zero, why can Balman trigger crit but not any other attack item? You mean on his spin? Because they let it? Because Moonton let it. Literally, that's the only reason why. Balman with Ice Queen one. Now that is crazy for Balman Rom. If that's your idea, just go Hylos, honestly. Okay, bro, let's start the build as Lilia main now. Yeah, well, almost. We have to talk about those Rome ones. Then we'll get into the Lilia build. Layla main? A Lilia main? I don't know. What's a good Bruno build? For the new items that are dropping, you're gonna have to change your Bruno build from Scarlet based to just Burst based. So unfortunately, that means that this whole attack speed thing is gonna die. Um, I feel bad for all the Bruno mains, but it is the reality of the new dominant size that's gonna hit. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is, He's gonna have to transition over to a CDR type burst build. So you're looking at the new Bruno build is like I said, if you're looking at it right now, you're a current Bruno main, you're gonna be like, no, this is completely wrong. But trust me, it's the way that Moonton wants it. I can't change the way they're making the game, right? So the only thing that some people would do is get another Berserkers, I guess, if they go for that crit damage. But honestly, if you crit, you crit. If you don't, you're still gonna like nuke people. So there you go. That's the. I'll leave that build up while I finish catching up on chat. Galman Glowing Wand. He has continued damage. So buy Glowing Wand. Trust. Okay, I feel like there's an export within you. You should research that. Ruby has 2 slows on her skills in Ice Cream. I love playing it on Tank Ruby. Just go for Hylos if you guys are so into the slowdowns on roamers. Jeez. Yeah, Lemony have tried Ice Cream on a lot of heroes like Terizla and Hylos. It's better on Hylos. I mean, honestly, if you want to be cancer, just put it on Hylos. K-pop is bad. I hate K-pop. The signing for some reasons that question me life. Yeah, well, I mean, let's just agree to disagree there. Like, I like a lot of music in general, so I guess I'm more unbiased, I guess, in a sense, because I listen to a lot of different music. Um, but yeah, great to see him nerfed. Lamau. Some tips on how I can start playing marksman and experiencing as a mage slash tank player. Huh. Transition into marksmen that are skill casters, except for Granger. So transition more into heroes, marksmen. Like I would say, don't go for a basic attack type marksman until you get used to them. So I would recommend you use Leslie, Brody, Leslie, Brody, Leslie, Brody, and Kimmy. If you're interested in the magic still, but Leslie and Brody for sure. Maybe even a little bit of Popple and Koopa or Clint. So yeah, Leslie, Brody, Clint, Popple, Koopa, and Kimmy in that order. Those would be your best transition as a mage and tank player, because they're more of skill caster type heroes. So yeah, and just play them like in general. Marksman wait until most of the damage, most of the crowd control effects are done. So just play them like that. Just be more conscious of your surroundings. Think of yourself as like a mage with less crowd control but more damage, essentially. We're nonsensical people. We love the ice cream on different heroes. Trust. I didn't see that. I didn't get to see it. Unfortunately, Luffy. I was busy looking at other things. Good thing Luffy didn't get a chance to be in the Eve giveaway. So there's a second giveaway for that Eve Christmas Eve skin. That's gonna be during the second stream tonight. Just FYI. Hacker Gaming. Hey, welcome to the stream. 1v1 trust. We don't do 1v1s on this channel. Sorry. Okay, so let's get started talking on Lilia. Oh wait, no, I can't because I haven't finished even talking about the Roamer blessing. So let's quickly get through that Roamer blessing real quick. It's not gonna take long because the same logic that we just talked about for the jungler, kind of the blessing choices is similar for roamers. The only difference is that there's more options. You have one more option there. So what is my real rank? My current rank on the original server is, I believe, Mythic 4 at the moment. I only have like 80 matches this season, like max. And that's because I literally spent the first half of the season ranking up an account from with no emblems all the way to Mythic. So I haven't had much chance to play on my main in general, slash, yeah, content creating in general. Not really gonna let you do what you want to do on rank. If you're asking about my highest ranked, I believe I've hit just like 600, your typical mythical glory. So not super high yellow, but I've got that in the past, in case you're wondering. But anyways, quick run through these roamer passives, these roamer blessings. The dire hit is more niche. This is the one that you barely see anyone take. The meta one is conceal, and the reason for that is because obviously, as you know, you click conceal, and you know you can do these sneak engages on enemies. You know, conceal, your whole team is concealed, and you guys can just go like, you know, boom, engage, and that's why it's meta. That's why people run it the most. You see that the most in high yellow in general. That's the most used blessing. Alternatively to that is, I'd guess the second more popular one is the favor one, and you'll see this more on supports that have a heal built in, like Estes or Raph, or even what's her name, Florin. You'll see that more, or Angela. You'll see this more on them because when they launch a heal at you, you heal for another nice little like 400, 500. I guess it depends on if you have the most, you max it out. What is this, like a 750 HP heal? So it's more seen on supports than anything. Healer type supports. And then this encourage one. I honestly have only seen this more on Minotaur, and that's because it increases your allies' attack speed by 15% and hybrid attack by 30. So this is more for like, I guess, boosting your allies, and if you don't need that purple retry, I guess, that's why when you would build this. Minotaur has a debuff and stuff, so if you're trying to like maximize the attack speed stuff passive on Minotaur, this is really good. So if you create zones in general, like Mincithar, like Johnson, like Minotaur, if you create zones with your skills, even Atlas, this could be valuable, but again, for the most part, the purple one is going to be more meta than any of these because of that, just that ability to even use it to not be targeted by skills and escape and all that other good stuff. So just FYI, those are your 4 passives. The blue one, that dire hit one, is more taken for like niche, very niche roamers, like burst damage type roamers like Natalia, which has fallen off. But I guess you could still do it on somebody like Hilda, I guess. Just not as popular, okay? What's the best build for Argus? So Argus is one of those that you don't... Argus is one of those that essentially you can go... You should go DHS on him, but like at the same time you also need like attack speed on him. So it's a toss-up because it's difficult to say without knowing like the match you're in between DHS and Windtalker first, because you're not really like boosting his damage, and he's like very dependent on item scaling. And the problem is that if you do Windtalker and DHS, you don't have very good at like attack scaling. So I'm gonna put DHS to the side for now, so that we can just talk about the crit version, and put in BOD and put in Malefic. And in this recommended slot, I'll put this this Hunter Strike. So in the early game, I would recommend you get Fury Hammer for that flat 12 pen, and it'll help you mitigate the weakness of not having any actual physical scaling. The only good thing about these first 3 items is that Argus scales well with levels. So if you can afford to get these items first on him, the Windtalker especially, along with your ultimate, it helps you in the early game the most. You're not going to be like killing people left and right, but in terms of laning, which is his weakest aspect overall, this can really help you clear your lane, you know, and then not get caught out and still have your ultimate for, you know, sticky scenarios. And then that Scarlet Phantom builds into the crit rate and attack speed for Berserkers. The only downside to Scarlet Phantom is when you're punching towers, you don't crit, so you don't get extra attack speed from that. That's why you see some people build Corrosion there, in case you're wondering. But I prefer Scarlet just because it increases crit rate. Later on in the game, like late game, when it's more important to kill towers and you already have Berserkers and BOD, then yeah, you could feasibly even sell your boots for that Corrosion Scythe, or perhaps even just, you know, trade it all together like this, and, you know, just try to get more attack speed and just end the game. You know, it's up to you, but in general, at least in the early game, this is what I would personally recommend. The only exception to this is if the enemy is really, really, really tanky. You can slot in this, slot it into this order. And of course, if they're just tanky, but just because they have high HP, not because they actually have defense items, then by all means, trade in that slot for a DHS, and the enemies will start to melt. So it's a little bit more situational. But yeah, that should cover you, get you covered in general for most Argus situations, okay? We'll talk about, we have to get through Lilia first because Lilia was already asked for a hacker. Try not to spam though, please. Am I Filipino? No, I am not. I'm from the States. Dun, 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 dun. You sprint for Fanny Trust? Yeah, don't buy Esme. She's nerfed for now. She's niche. She's very, actually, for the first time ever, she's actually just a counter pick hero. No, 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 no. Oh. Thank you, Cable, for letting me read chat and just disconnecting randomly. Trust. They're supposed to be holding a contest for the next Prime skin voting for end of December? Oh, you mean, no, what do you mean? I thought it was already, Beatrix. Or you mean for M5? Sir, do you understand me? Escucha las palabras de las brujas, los secretos escondidos en la noche. What? What about witches? I don't get it. If you want to talk about Zilong build, it's pretty much the same as, I'm not gonna go in depth on it, but literally everything I just said about Argus also applies to Zilong. Just FYI. There's literally, the only difference is that Zilong can kind of sort of sometimes sneak in a Hazclaw sometimes, but yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about Lilia though. That was what I promised, so I don't want to like it's 11:20 and we only have like 40 minutes left. I want to make sure we do get to Lilia, right? Because she has a unique kit, right? So let's go ahead and, oh my god, I clicked on Bane for some reason. GG. So let's go ahead into custom and we'll go ahead and talk about Lilia's itemization. From early game to mid game to late game to recommended. This is only build, okay? We're not really, I mean, obviously her kit affects her build, but that's not going to be our main focus here. It's not an entire Lilia stream, you know what I mean? He's fluent. Okay, so I'm just maxing out stuff so I don't have to deal with all this stuff. So Lilia's kit is basically based on her bombs, I guess they have a proper name. Her magical shockwaves or whatever, but everybody calls them Lilia's bombs. And essentially it's these little orbs you put on the battlefield. We're not gonna, like I said, we're not gonna talk too much about her kit. All you have to know in a nutshell is that the more you can move them, I guess, the more you stack them, the stronger your burst gets with them. And you can tell because this guy gets angry. But in the early game, if you're talking about the best build for Lilia, you're gonna for sure have to get this Elegant Gem. That is gonna be something like a recurring theme you see for a lot of these heroes. Elegant Gem and Fury Hammer in general are some itemization type things that you're gonna see pop up a lot. And the reason for this is because I can show you now that I reset my level and get no cooldown real quick. Let me just get to a place where I can use it. Okay, so I'm gonna take some damage here, and let's just assume it was like this damage came from, you know, just typical dishing out damage against somebody in the lane. Every time I level up, I'm gonna heal, and Lilia obviously takes like a lot of mana. That anybody that's a Lilia user knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you can spam these skills and your mana is just gonna get depleted eventually. So every time you level up with this, it prevents you from recalling for HP and mana, and that's critical for Lilia because she just runs through it so fast, right? Then your boots, you can get CDR boots if you want to, and the only reason that this works is, once again, because you have the Elegant Gem enabling you to do that. If you don't have Elegant Gem, you do need to get the Demon Shoes for that mana regen. Just, you know, warning you already. And then after that, because you're not going to be leveling up as fast anymore, obviously Enchanted Talisman is your best option. And here's where, this is your early game. This is everything you need for the early game. After this, it's not as easy anymore. Do you go live every day? No, I don't. I'm actually planning to go live a little bit less. But essentially, guys, this is your early game with Lilia. After this, it gets more dicey. Way more dicey, because other than, it depends on the enemies, basically, because you can choose to go for damage, or you can choose to go for utility. And utility means you're more helpful to your team overall because of your AoE effects. but you're gonna do less damage. So it's what your team needs the most at that moment, right? Dun 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 dun. Catching up a little bit, sorry. Okay, yeah, we're good. So this is your early game. We're gonna talk about the support path, IMO, the utility path, which I believe is more beneficial overall to your team. So if you're concerned about providing support, which comes in for Lilia, comes in the form of slowdowns, and being cancer to fighters, you know, it's best you get Ice Queen Wand because the enemy is gonna have a very hard time moving around with your skills, right? And it also helps you actually land every single bomb that you land, right? So it's high synergy with your kit, but at the same time, it does help you move a little bit faster in general, and it helps your team the most. It has very good AoE, essentially. So just FYI, this is... I think it's the most important support item for her, personally. Then the next item is dictated based on if your teammates if you have a magic hero on your team, I guess. So if, let's say you have I don't know, a support on your team like Raph, or let's say your jungler is somebody like Karina who, you know, benefits from more magic burst or Guzhin, something like that, then you would get Genius Wand because it boosts their damage through debuff, through your own debuff. And I mean, obviously, for those of you that don't know, I don't know who doesn't know by this point, but in case you don't know, you know, you will reduce the enemy's deep magic defense with that item. I'm gonna max my level out because, as you saw, it was only -12, and that's a nerf they applied to Genius Wand to make it more balanced overall in the game. Late game, it turns into -21, so just FYI. However, if you don't have anybody else that's doing magic damage on your team, I don't recommend you get this. I recommend you get a Glowing Wand because it helps you maintain the slowdown from the Ice Queen Wand just a little bit longer, okay? So if you look at this guy's movement speed, it's 265, and I'm gonna actually sell the Glowing Wand so you can see. I'm gonna hit him with this. Ignore the damage because when you hit Glowing Wand, you're gonna see the damage get inflated heavily because this guy has like 100,000 HP. So ignore the damage when I get Glowing Wand. Just look at the movement speed, okay? If you look right here, momentarily you can go negative, and that's just Lilia's bombs doing their thing, right? But overall, in general, her slowdowns kind of like decay really fast. From 145, you know, and stuff, just they kind of decay fast. But if you get Glowing Wand and you hit an enemy with any of your skills, you know, that slowdown stays for just a little bit longer. And those milliseconds or whatever you want to call them, it matters a lot more later on, especially for her. The other item you can get here, like I said, is Genius Wand. I would personally recommend it. Unless the enemy is healing, like has a very strong healer, then you can't even afford a Glowing Wand in that case. You will need to get the Necklace of Endurance. Lily is very good at applying it as well, so once again, it's very nice. If you have these two items for some reason, 100% get Glowing Wand next, because if you look at that, let's go ahead and show you what I mean. Look at this debuff. Look at that Heartbreak icon. Look how long it lasts. The timer is 7 minutes. There you go, so 3 seconds. And if I'm not mistaken, this should last for a little bit longer. I guess I made a timeout. But yeah, you just have better synergy with applying debuffs if you get Glowing Wand. And then late game, of course, and by late game, I guess any point from... Personally, I would recommend for any level from 11 through 15, you can sell this Elegant Gem, and then get your final item, which, if you're going for a support build, it should be your Genius Wand. And again, it depends on the enemies. So you could have this type of build in the end. Let me show you. In the end, your build can look something like this. Let me add a lot of gold here. We talked about why you would pick each build, each item already. So you're gonna pick between Necklace of Endurance or Glowing or Genius for your next item. Then after that, your next item will be obviously the same choices to make, and then you just kind of keep offsetting those items to later out in the game, right? Alternatively, you do have some clutch items for her, such as Winter Truncheon, which can help you survive. And so like, let's say you're out here, you get caught out by some burst, and you manage to do your ult, but they're waiting for you at your Magic Shoes location. You can, get the Frozen, and then, just make some clutch escapes, and then, maybe, like, panic sell the Winter Truncheon, and then just have this in... I don't have it in my recommended now, but for somebody like Lily, I would have Immortality in my recommended, so you can just do a quick item swap, and that way if you get caught out, you just have way more cancer survivability. So yeah, just keep in mind those items are clutch on her, and if you don't need that Necklace of Durance, if your teammates are building it for you in some shape or form, that anti-heal, and you don't have to provide it yourself, I highly recommend Winter Truncheon, because it just makes you that much harder to deal with. And of course, when it's on cooldown, get your Immortality, of course. However, if you notice that you're lacking damage, and you're still trying to support your team, you can do something like this. In terms of like, you're trying to transition over a little bit more into doing more damage overall. And this would be your best bet, especially for this tanky meta. Glowing Wand has been buffed to the point where I can actually recommend it more for dealing with those chonky heroes, okay? So this would be a good, I would say this would be my go-to in between type build. I wouldn't build it like this, I'd get it more like this. If I was a Lilia player right now and you asked me, like, straight off the bat, generic, every single match, this is gonna be good for the most part, this is the build right here. This right here. Because it's the most balanced overall for survivability and utility and damage. Anything else, you just kind of like tip the scales more for utility or tip the scales more for damage. And if you're going for more and more damage, then obviously an item like Holy Crystal would benefit you a lot here, just to do way more burst, right? But it's up to you, and you wouldn't need glowing if you're going for burst. Best to get Genius, just like this. This would be like your burst build for Lilia, and just out here to cause massive damage. Matter of fact, you probably even sell your boots late game, steal the enemy's blue if possible, and sell your boots for the arcane boots for even more pen. If you're going for a full burst, again, late game, you could do something like this, and it's just, I don't know, it's up to you, and what you're doing with your build, but it can become very high burst at the same time. It's just, you have your choices to make, what's the most beneficial for your team. Is it burst? Is it utility? Or is it a hybrid of both? What is going to provide the most for your team? What's going to make the most sense for you? That's your choice to make in the end. But in general, I believe this is for the meta right now, this is your best options, personally speaking. So, yeah. I think that pretty much covers your build. I'll catch up on chat now, sorry. Hacker noticed me. I noticed you. Senpai, please have face reveal. Nope. Cringe name Blackpink. No. His voice is since glasses is all we need. Trust? You have a request? Oh, Hunter Strike. What's up? What's up? Glowing Wand sucks. Just build Hunter Strike even if Magic Hero. Okay, let's do it. Why not? Let's go. Trust. Hunter Strike. Best Lilia build 2022. You saw it here first. Trust. Oh boy. You guys have a great sense of humor, I'm not gonna lie there. I like going magic damage and tank and trolling team like a Johnson user. I live to troll. Then they get muted because of me, then I blame them for being useless while I feed. Hey yo. Not a recommended playstyle, but if that's what you like enjoy doing, as long as you can keep that in classic, you know, go for it. What about Clock of Destiny on her? I wouldn't recommend it for her. It doesn't sync with her. I know you're talking about the lollipop build. Some people like that on her, so they go they do something like this. From the early game, they do get the elegant, of course, who everybody has to, again, it's like a requirement. But for what you're talking about, people go like, they build her like this for the lollipop build. And then they get the lightning truncheon, then they get the ice queen wand, and then they get either divine glaive or fleeting time, since fleeting time has mana. And this is all fine and dandy. Until you realize that it's just not better. You tend to have or think that it might have more bursts or stuff, but aside from the, I guess, utility, it's not like it's not the worst build ever. You could have way worse builds, but in general, I don't recommend it personally. However, if you're talking about Clock of Destiny as just like somewhere in between about HP and mana item, and you're gonna build it later, something more like, if you really want to build it, I guess the only reason or way I would factor it in would be something like this, where, well, not like this. I'd get the Ice Queen, then get the Clock, then I would get the Winter Truncheon, and then Divine Glaive. If you're trying to go for those stacks to get more HP so you don't get bursted as fast, that could be a reasonable way to integrate the Clock of Destiny, and then not even worry about ever selling Elegant Gem, you know what I mean? You would just have to buy this only once you hit level 12 plus to get the max benefit of that Elegant Gem. And therein lies your the biggest contention for most people. A lot of people just argue that if you're not building this clock as your first or second item, it's kind of useless. I disagree. I think it scales really fast. It's every 20 seconds and it's 15 times. So I mean, realistically speaking, 20 seconds, that's 3 times a minute. So you get 3 stacks a minute. And if you're talking about 15 times, it only takes 5 minutes to get maxed out. So let's say it's 12 minutes in the game and you're just buying Clock of Destiny. By 17 minutes, you should have your full stacks. If your matches don't last that long, I can see where you can argue that it's not as effective to get it, but like I said, the problem is that Elegant Gem is just so strong. You know, 20% max HP every level up is critical, and it's very coveted as an item, to the point where even an item as strong and as good as Clock is being delayed just to keep those benefits from the Elegant Gem around for a little bit longer. Is the stream ending? Yeah, the stream is ending soon, but we're gonna start a second stream for the Hanabi, the new Hanabi, and we're gonna talk a lot about her and lab her out and make sure that oh my god, the game ended. We're gonna lab her out and make sure that we can in general get everybody ready for that new update whenever it drops. But yeah. It's not fun if I don't make them suffer. I need to go and rank. I mean, I have the same type of mentality, but I don't troll my team. I kind of just like to... I'm the one that gets trolled anyways, so I go... I usually like to take like somebody like Harley. Harley, that's why I play Harley, when I just want to see people suffer. Even if I lose the match, I know I made somebody suffer. That's why I play Harley. Sicilian? Yeah, we can talk about him. He'll be the last one we talk about though, then we have to end the stream and start the other one. Sicilian's pretty meta too, so it's not bad to talk about him. Sicilian's core items are Lightning Truncheon and Glaive. Everything else is situational. You're not wrong, but once again, oh my god, what is this recommended build? Oh my goodness, yeah. Ignore that build. You're not looking at it. That's not my build. Yeet. So Sicilion is very simple to understand. He scales with mana, so anything you can do to boost his mana or his mana regen is essentially what you want the most. And because he has good range and stuff, but because he has this like movement speed boost and regen type passive, you can often see him kind of roaming and running around team fights along with his sprint. It's very often that you can see him doing those kinds of stunts. But for Sicilion, I would recommend you go for this in the early game. These three items right here: Elegant Gem, Demon Shoes, and Lightning Truncheon. That's going to be the basis of most of your damage in the early game. And my best recommendation for him for items. Then I would say look at the enemy's builds. Oftentimes you can tell if they are building a magic res based on the magic robes. These guys right here. So if they have this, they're most likely going for Athena's shield. And if they are, at that point you can make the conscious decision to start building your glaive or get genius, and that's all depends on if you just want to maximize your damage. If you don't care so much but you still want to maximize your damage but you realize you're being targeted a lot, Damice is a very good option too, because it has mana, and it just helps you in team fights where you're being targeted. You know, it just helps you survive a little bit longer. Personally, actually, I would recommend you get Damice because it's just that cancer on him. It's a really cancer item for him. From this, at this point, it's too late in the game. You have to get glaive. And then after that, it's best if you get some type of you finish your clock by this late in the game, for sure. And personally, I recommend, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I personally recommend the Blood Wings for that shield passive, based on his HP. It just, as you can see, I don't even have stacks on him, but my burst is already very high. So I like that. You might not like that yourself, but if I'm playing Sicilion, this is the build I go. So again, once again, the order was Elegant Gem, Demon Shoes, the Lightning Truncheon, the Damice, the Glaive, and if you can, and you don't have to build that pen, basically whenever you hit that level 12 spike, like we talked about before, you can go ahead and get that Clock of Destiny, and then get your Glaive. It depends on the match. Some matches you'll have to rush the Glaive. Some matches you'll be able to get the Clock of Destiny before you get the Glaive. But final item for sure. Get yourself some Blood Wings. Especially if you're good at kiting and you're good with Sicilion. Highly recommend this item. Winter Truncheon can also come clutch because he's the type of hero. Let me close this lane and shut off this AI so you can see what I mean. He's a type of hero that can do this. Similar to Alice. So if you proc your ult and you do Winter Truncheon, you can heal during your Winter Truncheon procs. So it's not like it's actually a really good item on him in my opinion. Especially if you get like caught under tower or something. You can just regen really good and then just sprint out and run away. So if you don't have enough gold, or you just don't like Blood Wings, then for sure get Winter Truncheon at least. So that'd be my recommended build for him. Max damage, like I said, max damage, best overall IMO, Blood Wings. But if you're trying to survive and it's high ELO gameplay and there's a lot of clutching going on, definitely Winter Truncheon. For sure. Hey, seriously, say ara ara. I'm not gonna say it like that. I know what you want. They nerfed Eve so they could open up further heroes? Yep. Core item for Sicilian is Hunter Strike. Let's go. Trust. Let's go. Everything you knew is a lie. Oh, I ran out of gold. Best Sicilian build 2022. One shots everything. Trust. But dang, where's Hunter Strike? It's right there, man. It's right there. But dang, mains is Hunter Strike. Trust. Oh no. Divine Glaive has arrived. Yeah, you're in the build. Don't worry. It's funny. I feel like you guys are just making burner accounts just to poke some fun. I appreciate the vibe. You guys make this kind of funny. Like your every build, bro. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. That's why we're here. But dang. Okay. I don't want to give you Badang's build because I'm extremely biased on Badang builds. I have two versions of Badang's build, and one of them is Burst, and the other one is Cope. So, you know what? I'll give you a generic Badang build. That way, you guys are happy, and I don't have to stress out too much about it. Jeez. There you go. Enjoy. Just get your Fury Hammer first. Not first. Get your Fury Hammer after you get DHS. It'll help you. Enjoy your build. I'm not gonna explain much about it. But Dang is a very, 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 very difficult hero to get your build right on him. I'm thinking to buy Esme. I really want to learn her. Should I go for Ruby/Uranus? Go for Ruby or Uranus right now because Esme is a counter pick hero. If you don't see a lot of shield heroes, it's not worth doing that. He doesn't know Badang. I'm the one who gives Saya his build. What you talking about, bro? Get out. I hear Badang, I come back. Nah. Nah. What's the one build for Badang? Right here. Jeez. I don't know fighters. Trust. I might not know how to play them, but I know the builds. Vex build? I have one on the original server. But I'll have to research her more. I don't feel comfortable coming up with a Vex build right now. And it would take too long to research her properly. For now, I would say you're probably safe going with the glowing wand slash Clock of Destiny Lightning Truncheon Burst build. Dyroth build? I know that one because Rito always spams him. Or used to, but the build hasn't changed for him. By the way, stop using Dyroth, switch to Hilda. Hilda's the new Dyroth. This is what Rito runs, and for the most part, with the last 3 items kind of being switched based on priority. So if he needs to be tankier, he'll switch the Malefic Roar with either Athena's or Antique, and then he'll get Malefic Roar in the place where you see Athena's. Or it all depends on the match, really, but yeah, that's basically what he gets. Dareth main's item is Hunter Strike, trust. Goofy Zero has Malefic on Dyroth. Yeah, you can get him. It's because, realistically, you're not always gonna have your debuff on the enemy, or they can, if they're good and they have the right kind of hero, they could even purify it. So you shouldn't always rely or think you're always gonna have your S2 debuff up. So yeah. Haven't seen a win in Scrim since Zero reached Mythic. They've won. And it's not just Rito. I mean, if you look at, I hate to do this, but we can go. Oh my god. Yeah. Heroes, fighters. Oh, this is a new menu. This looks a lot nicer. Sheesh. There's only one person. Is this how you... Is this the new ranking system? That's pretty nice. Yeah, there you go. Most people do something similar for those first 3 items. So, it's not that different. It's these last 2 items that basically vary the most. Like, I mean, even if with the new buff to Dom Ice, I could even see this becoming more popular. Who cares? Top global build. No, in this case, this is probably your best case scenario. Especially if you're playing more ambush type. If you're not really playing ambush type, you could probably switch the priority of hunters and heptas, honestly. Alucard build? I have that on the original server. Hold on, let me flip to the original server real quick. I'll just flip back to the... I'll flip back. I don't want to relab it. I already did a lot of testing on the original server with that build. Just give me a second to load up the original server. I disagree heavily with your build on Dyroth. What do you build? BOD first or something? Alucard is build Hepta season BOD. You're done? Yeah, sure. Ruby Lab is upcoming. We already had our Ruby Lab, so... That's already done. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. Alucard's main item is Hunter Strike. Trust? Zero stick to mages and MM. I don't understand why you guys have this belief that you need to be good with a hero to know what's the best build for them. You guys have... That's a very flawed logic to have, honestly. Very, very flawed. Okay, here we are. I didn't even go into this, but trust. Okay. Fighter, Assassin, Alucard. Yeah, there you go. Call me crazy, but that's what I built on him. Hunter Strike nerfs Alucard's damage scaling? What? It's fine as long as Hunter Strike bias much. Let's move out the way a little bit here. Ignore the label on there. I haven't changed my labels on them. Coming back to say thank you for the Badang tips and build zero. You're welcome. Why would you not go Heptas first? Because CDR. Duh. Easily. What? Do you want this 160 plus 40% physical attack? Is that what you're going for? I'd rather have the CDR personally. Because there's no CDR if you don't. There really is no CDR. That's my only source of CDR. Other than EB. So I have to. I don't have much options. CDR very valuable. There is CDR, it's called your ult. Okay, and what are you gonna do in the case where you don't have your ult? Hello? You guys are crazy. You need CDR. Healing? What? I'm telling all the YouTubers start making Alucard content with this build. It should work the best, honestly. We're going for max damage. Like, imagine if you don't get Hunter Strike until way later. Sheesh. Yeah, I don't know. I like this build more. I mean, I'm using it right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I like this build a lot more. I have no CDR on it right now. Oops. My bad, my bad. I believe the way to properly test for some of these builds is take my build. Oh my god, that song is insane. Take my build, go to ranked with it, and if it doesn't work for you, then just, you know, flip it to however you like. But in general, I doubt that you're gonna find it to be any, you know, super OP. You were wrong. This is not going to be, like, rarely will that happen. IMO. It can happen, but it's rare. It's very rare that that would happen. I don't know why my, like, first gut feeling to do this with Alucard is to cast. I'm used to the older one where you kind of save your ult a little bit, but in this, with this one, you kind of, I guess you kind of have to go in. But yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and end off this stream so that we can flip over to the other one, okay? Whoop. This should be a quick ending. Just tune in again, guys. We're just gonna literally flip over back to the advanced server and talk about the new Hanabi, okay? One defense item is needed. I can't actually... I tried to build a defense item on him, and it did not work out well for me. I ended up dying, of course, but I took out like 2 cores. I took out the mage and the marksman. Then I died. So, I don't know. He might just be one of those like glass cannon type heroes where you kind of go all in. High risk, high reward. But yeah, we flipping off to the stream. Don't worry, we'll be right back. Just tune into the other one.